Hi everyone, I am going to walk you through some yoga poses and this week as we're focusing on asanas for Cali Flow. And I just wanted to take today to go ahead and show you Surya Namaskar A or Sun Salutation A. Sun salutations are a beautiful way to begin your day, greet the sun, bring in that warm prana energy, that sunshine into your body. It's a great way to just warm up your body and warm up your spirit. So I'm going to break that down for you today so that you'll know the flow of it. Now, another reason that I am doing Surya Namaskar A first in our series of pose breakdowns is because I want to show you that lots of different poses and flows have their own kind of unique blueprint depending on who is your instructor. So there are a few different ways to start a Surya Namaskar A, and I was taught a certain way of flowing through, and but it might look different depending on who you're practicing with and what feels best for your body. So know that that is okay, and that is great. In fact, if you would prefer to lift your arms up rather than out, it's really up to you. There are a few things within yoga that really help with proper alignment for specific poses, but with a sun salutation, we really can kind of make it our own unique version. So I'm going to show you my particular version of Surya Namaskar A as taught to me and interpreted by Sacred Paths Yoga Training School, and then interpreted by me. So I will now begin. So you're going to start at the front of your mat, pretty close to the edge there. I'm just giving myself a little bit more room so that I don't hit this table. You're either going to begin with your toes together, heels slightly apart, or you can begin this pose with your feet at hips distance. Whichever is more comfortable for you, whatever feels best, keeps you really grounded in your pose and is going to allow you to come into that mountain pose feeling really strong, sturdy, and confident, chest lifted and open. So we're going to start, this is our neutral position. This mountain pose, just really hands by your side, palms facing out, grounded, centered, really focusing in on our breath. Because in a Surya Namaskar A, Sun Salutation A, and any Sun Salutation, you're going to be moving on each breath. So you move on an inhale, you move on an exhale, so that there's a nice flow to the sequence. So the first inhale of a Sun Salutation is going to be an inhale lifting up. So you're going to inhale, reaching high up to the sky overhead. Exhale, folding forward through a flat back all the way down to the mat. You're going to inhale on a little half lift, which is a flat back. Now, I'm going to go ahead and stop there because now we already get to where there might be some adjustments or modifications in order to make this pose right for you. Now, when you're in this half lift, you want to keep your back really straight, your head aligned with your shoulders and your waist. Now, for some folks, if you have really tight hamstrings or you're not warmed up, it may be most accessible for you to come into this half lift holding on to your shins or your thighs. Here. Now, if you can come down to the mat and half lift from the mat, that's also wonderful. Neither one is right or wrong. They're both right, actually. Neither one is incorrect, but it's really whatever is best for your practice. So when you have that inhale lifting up, exhale folding down flat all the way to the mat, Inhale, half lift or half lift. Exhale, you're gonna step back into your plank pose. Coming into a full plank, keeping that booty tucked under. You're going to come down through your chaturanga, keeping the elbows tucked and lifting into an up dog on an inhale. So let's talk about that chaturanga for a second. In a chaturanga, your goal is to come down with your elbows really squeezed into the sides. So your push-up looks like this. So at no point, we're not doing big wide football arms. We're keeping really tucked nice and close. Now, when I was in my teacher training, something that really helped me kind of hone in on this push-up position correctly, this chaturanga, was to really imagine that when I come down, my hands are going to be right by where my bra straps go. For you gentlemen out there, that might not be super helpful, but you can imagine just on the sides of your pecs. So when you're coming down, you're keeping the elbows going straight back. And you don't want to come all the way down to the mat. Just as you would in a push-up, you're going to want to come about halfway to where your elbows meet your sides and then come up. So it will look like this. Keeping the elbows really tucked, coming halfway, pushing through to your up dog on an inhale. Next, we're going to tuck our toes, come back to our down dog. Now, down dog, you want to have about 2 fist distance between your feet, and your hands are firmly planted into the mat, really gripping down hard with those fingertips, pushing through the hands, through the shoulders, trying to find that straight line down the entirety of your back. So it also helps to push up with your booty. So we're pushing up with our sacrum. This is not correct. This is where you want to be. Now for me, my down dog goes really, really nice and wide. Some people, when I first started practicing, I really didn't like down dog, and I had teachers saying, down dog is home. Downward facing dog is a home position. I never felt at home there because I was doing way too narrow of a stance. I was keeping my body too close together. I had to widen out my triangle to really get that solid opposition between my hands, my shoulders, and my sacrum really rising up to the sky. Now, another thing about downward facing dog is the goal is not necessarily to have your heels on the ground. It's okay if your heels are slightly lifted, especially for you folks out there with tight hamstrings. Your heels are going to be lifted a hair, and that's okay. The goal is really just to find that opposition and that strength in that triangle position. Now, eventually your heels might come down, fabulous, but if they don't, that's okay. You are still doing your downward facing dog correctly. So again, in our down dog, we're not looking for a really small position here that I might be lined up, but for me, there's a lot more room to spread out, grow my down dog, and really focus in on that opposition. So as you can see, I've lifted my booty way high into the sky, and my arms are really grounding down. Now my heels are slightly lifted. My hamstrings are feeling really tight today, and they don't normally touch the ground straight out of the gate. So now we've come to our downward facing dog. We're going to stay here for 5 breaths. Then a really nice way of coming out of this is to inhale, lifting onto your tippy toes. Exhale, bending the knees and looking forward. Then on your inhale, you can walk, step, or jump to meet your hands at the front of the mat. So you've got the option to walk up to the front of the mat, or you've got the option to inhale onto the toes, exhale, bending the knees, looking forward, and jump to the front of the mat. Ending that inhale with a little half lift, pulling back down on an exhale. Inhale, rising up, coming to prayer. Exhale, coming through prayer pose and into your mountain pose. So we begin, or we end just as we began, grounded, centered in that mountain pose. So that's the breakdown of all the steps. Now we're going to put it together, and I'm going to cue the breaths. Now, the one breath that's kind of long and sounds like a lot going on, but you can definitely do it, is that coming down from that plank through your chaturanga, all on an exhale before you inhale on the up dog. So we're going to attempt to do this all cueing, really showing you the proper form and alignment. And again, if you want to lift up here, out here, take it as your own. Do what feels best for you. I personally really enjoy a full opening up because it opens up my chest. It helps me greet the sun fully, and I can really come down and ground into that mountain pose. So again, completely up to you. Let's go through it one more time. Beginning in our grounded mountain pose. Toes together, heels slightly apart, or feet hips distance apart, whatever you prefer. Both are correct. Inhale, reaching high to the sky. Exhale, coming down through that prayer pose. Flat back all the way down to the mat. Inhale, little half lift, flat back. Exhale, planting the hands, stepping back to plank, flowing through our chaturanga. Inhale, pushing through up dog. Exhale, tucking the toes, coming back to down dog. Adjusting my stance to have 2 fist distance between my hands. Staying here for 5 breaths. You can walk your dog. This doesn't have to be a sedentary pose. You can just really ground in and stay still if you choose. After 5 breaths, we're going to inhale, lifting up onto the tiptoes. Exhale, bending the knees, looking forward. Inhale, walk, step, or jump to the front of the mat. Half lift on to finish that inhale. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, flowing through prayer and into that mountain pose. And that is a Surya Namaskar A, Sun Salutation A sequence broken down. I hope that this was beneficial and you enjoy. Please let me know what other particular poses or sequences you would like broken down throughout this week. I would love to hear from you. The divine light in me honors the divine light in you. Namaste.